So I'm going to start this video handheld with my phone to shoot the camera because I got things spread out all across my table. So the rings turned out beautifully, and when I fired the rings, I also put in some dragonflies. So this is the dragonfly I'm going to use. Now I'm going to go over some of the supplies that I use. I love these magnifying glasses. Got them on Amazon, and they come with a light, which is great for highlighting what you need. They also come with many different size magnifiers, which really helps me when I'm doing this wire wrapping. I get out my needle nose pliers. Now, the needle nose pliers I like to use have the flat edges, not the ridges. I don't know if it's so or not, but I think the ridges, there's the possibility of the wire getting into one of those, opening the ridges and sliding out. I don't know if that would happen or not, but I have some curved ends and I have some regular ends, and again, they're flat on the inside. Sometimes I use jump rings, so I have these jump rings in all different sizes. This is the black chain that I use to hang from the top. Now, I'll need scissors, and this is what I really want to talk about right now, is the bead wire that I use. Not necessarily the name brand, but I use a nylon-coated stainless steel wire used for bead making. I do not use fishing line. Fishing line will deteriorate over time. One thing you do have to watch out for is this wire comes in different sizes, and you're going to see that the diameter over on the left is 0.018 of an inch, and this is 20-pound wire. This is 0.015 inches, and it's a 15-pound, which, weight-wise, I'm not so concerned with. What I'm concerned with is the diameter of the wire, because not only does the wire come in different diameters, but the crimping beads come with the holes different sizes. And you want your wire to fill up that hole just as much as it can. So I'm going to actually use these beads because they have a smaller hole. I've taken them out of their package, so I can't tell you what they were or what their sizes were. But if I get a pretty good close-up on this, you can kind of see the differences. The one on the left is a little bit larger than the one on the right. So I'm going to use the one on the right, and I'm going to use the 0.018 wire because I tested it out, and it fills up the hole so much better than the 0.015. So these are the supplies I'm going to use today to assemble my wind spinner rings. Oh my, how could I have forgotten the need for spinners? These are the spinners that I use. Got them on Amazon. So when you look up this person on Amazon, you want to look for the sizes. Now this is a 20-pound spinner. They are very tiny. You need something that's short so that you can get between the ring sizes. I'm going to open this up and show you just how little these things are. They do have a smaller size. As a matter of fact, I needed to order more. So I ordered one of their smaller sizes too to see if it might work better. But look how tiny those things are. Okay? But they spin really well. So don't forget, you need your spinners. Okay, so I'm going to begin. I'm going to show you my little dragonfly I made. See if I can position this right. Trying to see how things go. Used a green and a blue, the same color blue that is in this ring. And on the back side, I have the hook. So the hook is going to have a spinner so that it spins around. Okay, I'm going to move this out of my way. I like to start with the center ring and going out one. So I'm also going to move these. Okay, and I'm going to be working with these two. Now, the thing you need to think about is each one of these rings needs 2 spinners. Okay, and I have a condition called essential tremors. So you're going to see my hand shake occasionally. Sometimes it shakes, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, but because of that, I need to work with extra large pieces. I also don't like to fidget. Fidgeting, you know, playing around with things, being very fidgety, or I guess fidgety isn't really the word for it. I think the word is something that's really tiny. So you're going to say, oh, wow, she wastes a lot of this wire stuff. But I'm okay with that. Okay. My wire comes with a plastic ridge on it to hold the wires in. I'm going to take that off. Place that over to the side. And I'm going to cut off a whole lot more than I really need. So I'm going to get my scissors. And I'm going to cut this. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I need 2 spinners. So I'm going to take the end and I'm going to pick up 2 spinners. It is a lot easier. It is easier for me to actually use my wire to get into those. Okay. Now I also need a crimping bead. I find it easier, rather than picking it up with my fingers, to put it on my work surface. There's a few of them. I'm going to put the lid on it. I have dropped these and had to hunt them, get them all off the floor. Not fun. So I'm going to take the end, just like I did with the spinners, being careful not to lose it at the other. So sometimes I'll hold them together. I am going to put the end of the wire into the bead, and you notice the bead went sideways. Okay? I am going to take my wire. I'm going to separate these spinners, and I'm going to take my circle. I want 1 spinner to the right, 1 spinner to the left. I'm wondering if it would be better for me to zoom in. Let's see if I can zoom in here. To what I'm doing. Let me move here. If you've seen my other video, my number 1 video, the first one I made actually, you know that this is my first time doing this. So I'm trying to look over at my laptop at the same time as I'm videoing to make sure everything's in. So I got 1 spinner on one side. The other spinner is right here. And I'm going to take my wire. There's my bead. And I'm going to feed it through. Okay. Now, there is still quite a bit of room inside that bead. It moves freely. And somebody mentioned that they have done theirs and the wire fell out of the bead. Could be possible that your bead hole opening was larger than you needed. When the hole opening is way too large, I take one side, bring it around on the opposite side of where it came out, and try to feed it through. Now, I'm going to try to feed this through this end. Got my magnifiers on, but it's still not helping a whole lot. Oh, come on. There we go. It's in. Oops, dropped it. I do that a lot. Let's try this again. I'm trying to get close to the camera for you. I'm holding this loose piece between my thumb and my finger, bringing this around and trying to angle it well. Push it through the hole. And I lost it. This is why I use a lot of extra wire, so I can get this loop going. Come on, baby. Well, this is not wanting to go through the hole. There we go. Sorry, there goes a trimmer. And I'm going to pull this tight. Okay, see how that is? Huh, I made a snowman. Looky there. Ha. Okay, I need one of these on each side because I'm going to pull this tight. Okay, you're going to find that one of these pieces will actually cinch stuff down. Okay, and I'm going to cinch this down pretty tight, and I'm pulling and I'm pulling and I'm pulling and I'm pulling and I'm pulling, and I don't know if you can see that or not. I'm going to lift it up. There we go. See how that is? I'm going to pull this as tight as I can possibly get it. These still move pretty freely. Okay. I'm going to take my needle nose and I'm going to squeeze that, and I'm going to squeeze it, and I'm going to squeeze it again to where it's nice and tight. Then I take my scissors. Oops. It's best to hold the other edge because the nylon wants to cut, and then the string, the stainless steel, and another. And you can see I've got that on. I got 2 spinners, one for the top and one for the bottom. And one side of my glass is flat. Can you see that? Oops, let's go this way. See how this is flat? This is beveled up. This was the bottom side of the mold. This is the top of the mold. So I try to remember to put all my flats in one direction. Okay, so this is my flat. Now, sometimes I even like to swing that around and put the crimp bead piece on the back side. These get a little sharp. They're pokey, so be careful. So I've got a spinner on top and a spinner on bottom. Now is where things get tricky, trying to put all these pieces together. I'm going to go ahead and cut myself some wire. Probably don't need as much as I had last time, but I'm okay with that. Okay. Now, if I want all my flat pieces to be to the back, I've got to remember when I lay them like this, that this is going to flip over. Let me get back up here in my camera. And now I have flat and bull nose. So, when I'm getting ready to put these together, let me move this out of my way. I have to have bull nose up, bull nose down. Okay? Now, like I said in the beginning, I need to have 2 spinners on this. I've got one there. Now I need a second one. I need one on this side. So I'm going to pick up a spinner. Let's see. Let me move this way. Got my spinners. Let me zoom out a little bit. Nope. There we go. Got my beads. Got my spinners. Now, people, I'm not going to edit these things out. I'm going to leave them in. This is my first time doing this. I'll get more professional as I move on. Okay? So, I'm going to grab a spinner. Okay? And then I'm going to come to this end of the spinner. Oops. Move my other rings out of the way. I'm now going to grab this spinner. Okay? Let's see if I can move in a little bit. My wire has a spinner on it. Okay? I'm going to hold on to it between my fingers and my wire between my fingers. And I'm going to pick up the end of that bottom spinner. This will go much faster if I wasn't recording, but I know you people are wanting to see this. Okay? Got 2 spinners on there. See them? One's free and one's hooked to this bottom one. I'm now going to pick up a crimping bead. Okay? Got my crimping bead. Got my 2 spinners. I'm going to take the back side of this wire and get my next loop. Okay? I'm going to take my wire in my left hand. Sorry about the tremors, people. Just something I have to live with. I'm going to feed my bead on. And I'm going to grab both ends of these. And I'm going to pull the bead down. See? Now, I have a problem here. See this? It's on top. So if I need it to come over here, it's not going to pass through that bead. Does that make sense? See how this spinner, oh, let's see if I can get it for you, is on top. It won't pass through that bead. I need to move this spinner to the other side. So I'm going to take this out. I'm going to take one side out. And I'm going to take that loose spinner and pull the whole thing apart. You don't mind me doing it again, do you? Okay. I'm going to pick up my spinners. Got one spinner. Pick up my second spinner. And this time, I'm going to put my ring in. And I'm going to make sure that spinner is on the bottom side of the existing spinner. Does that make sense? Okay. Got the top spinner that's attached here. This is my free floating that's going to come to the top of this one. Okay. So it needs to be on the bottom. Now I'm going to pick up my bead, if I can. I usually do this on the right hand. Let me try it with my right hand. Am I in the screen? Yeah, I'm in the screen. Pick up my bead. Hold it between my finger and my thumb. Take my left hand. And I'm going to feed the wire through. It's really good to line those up next to each other. And you can literally push it right on if you got those lined up well. Okay? And I'm going to start pulling on my pieces. There we go. So much better. This time I'm not going to pull as tight as that one because my spinner rings aren't really loose. Okay. Extra measure of safety. Which way am I going to go? I'm going to try to get this. Actually, this is pretty tight in here. Okay. I think I'm going to leave it. I don't think I'm going to do that double loop like I did there. Please double loop it if you feel like there's a lot of room inside your crimper bead. Okay? So I'm not going to pull this as tight as I did there. It's going to put the spaces between my rings a little bit more. But like I said, I had trouble moving that around. So I'm going to make it a little tight. Sometimes you need that third hand. Okay. I'm going to put my needle nose in here. And I'm going to continue to pull with the left. I'm going to pull with the right. I don't think you can see what I'm doing. I'm kind of crisscrossed a little bit. Pinch it really tight. Okay. Where are my scissors? Here are my scissors. Oops, getting tangled in my wire. I'm going to cut this. I'm going to cut this. Yes, it's very sturdy wire, people. All right. I'm going to zoom back. Trying to. Have the wrong camera angle. If you look at this, and I'm going to pull tight on this, see the room I have down here? I have lots of room. So there's not a chance of this piece banging against that piece. Okay? I'm going to do one more ring for you. Then I'm going to let you, I'm going to finish it by myself. Now, unfortunately, I have this on the top side. I'm okay with that. If you're not okay with that, you can cut it and try again. Okay? But I'm okay with that because I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in this staying nice. Now, I'm pulling really hard on this to make sure that once the weight gets on it, it doesn't come down and hit that one. So if I take my next color, reaching over here to the side, get my next color, and I'm just going to put it down for placement. I would rather the ring be closer at the top, where all the stuff is, than to be close down here. See the room I have? Now, when I filled my mold, if you watch the first video, I didn't overfill it. When you overfill it, you wind up getting bigger and thicker rings, which causes this. You not having much room down here. Okay? So, I want all my flat sides to the back, and I have this down, so I'm going to flip this over. I have my spinners. I have my seed beads, which I probably wouldn't be able to see if I didn't have my magnifying glasses on. I'm going to cut a piece of wire. Remember, I cut an awful lot of wire. But I need that extra wire to help me finagle this thing. All right. Now, if I want this piece to be on the back, flip everything over. Does that make sense? So I'm going to do that. I'm going to flip everything over. Got my flat side up, flat side down. Where's my spinner? There's my spinner to the top. There we go. I'm going to grab the open end of my spinner. You probably want me to zoom in. Let me zoom in. There we go. All right. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to grab a spinner. I want this piece to be to the right, that piece to be the left. That's why I picked it up with the left wire. Okay? Now I can get my ring and put my ring in. Oops, it came out. No big deal. Bring that spinner back around. Come on, baby. Sometimes it's just easier to grab it with this. Well, it's going to be contrary. Here we go. Now I have them. And I'm going to put them on my wire. Using the right side of my wire on my right side spinner. Okay? Just so you see what I'm doing, I'm going to put that spinner to the inside. Oops, let's go up. I'm going to grab a seed bead. I'm right-handed, so I like to grab them with my right hand. Put my crimping bead, I said seed bead, it's a crimping bead, between my thumb and my finger. Push this through to the other side. I got it. Cool. Grab my ends. See it cinching down? Neat, 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 neat. There it is. And it's holding really well. Sometimes it slides out. If your bead wire is too thin, it will slide out. Okay? I'm going to grab my wire. I'm going to crimp. I'm going to crimp again. I'm going to double crimper. I am going to cut this. Cut this. I am going to flip it over. And I'm going to pull. And see the space I have? Whoops, no, you can't see the space I have. There we go. See the space I have? I'm pulling. That's as if it was going to be hanging outside. There it is. All right, I got one more to do. When I do the next one, I'm going to do the same way. I'm going to have a spinner on both sides because I need a spinner for the top of my piece. Okay? Okay. There it is. So I have all 4 of my rings together. Now, this particular mold comes with 6 rings. If you're not going to put a decorative piece in the middle, which a lot of people are finding that they're doing, I've seen sunflowers in there, butterfly. I've done butterflies and dragonflies. Just about anything. You know, everybody's crazy about bumblebees. I bet you a bumblebee in there would look absolutely gorgeous. You could even change your colors to be yellow and black. Okay? You can do school colors. Somebody who's very patriotic to their school, whether it's a high school or a college. You know, the possibilities are limitless. You can do a whole bunch of things. Okay? Now, I'm looking at this, and I'm seeing that I have flat up, bullnose up. Oh, well, you know, it can hurt anything. You'll see when it hangs in a little bit what that's like. Okay, I get this little 9-inch chain because I like the 9-inch chain with the hook on the top. There's a hook on the top. Get these beautiful babies from Amazon. Okay, I'm going to make a loop between this one and this one. And I'm going to do a pretty good size loop. So I'll move this out of my way. Okay. I'm going to come forward so I can see what I'm doing a little bit. I'm going to zoom in. And then reposition my work. Okay. I'm going to take my wire. Now I'm going to double up on this wire. Because I want it extra sturdy. And when I say double up, I mean I'm going to loop it. Okay? I'm just going to make a big loop. So I'm going to come here, pick this up. Thought I was done with spinner and seed beads. Nope, need a seed bead. Going to need a couple for the bottom too. Get a couple out. Okay, got a good sized piece of wire. Picking up a seed bead. Okay, doesn't matter what side I'm going on. And I'm picking this up. Pick up the end of my spinner. There we go. Putting the seed bead between my fingers. I like to use my pointer and my thumb. Got a little off there. And see how that's a little crimped? I don't know if you can see that or not. Maybe if I put it on my fingernail, you can see it. It's crimped a little bit. So I'm going to feed this straight edge through it. All right. Putting that together. Pushing it. And I'm going to pull this side out. Okay? I'm going to actually pull on both of them, because I want to loop-de-loop this. Okay? So I want my circle to be big enough to put my hook through. And it can be too big. It's really no big deal. And I'm going to bring this back around. Okay? This is why I make them extra long. And I'm going to feed it through again. And I'm hoping it'll go. Let's see. Let me turn a little bit this way. Because when I pull on it, see how it's moving when I pull on it? This is where it gets fiddly, and I don't like fiddly stuff. So I'm going to make my tail end a little bit bigger. And I'm going to try to feed it through. It's tight. Come on. All it's doing is pushing it at this point. So I'm going to hold it, and I'm going to try to feed that baby on there. Because I want a really tight fit. And I'm going to line all 3 of these wires up and try to push that bead on. Hot dog, got it. Now I'll grab that end. Now when I'm pulling this, I don't want to pull this loose one that's going to make my circle smaller. See it making my circle smaller? I don't want to do that. I want a good size circle. So I'm going to put my needle nose in there, and I'm going to spread it back out. Okay, see me spreading it out? I want the tight on this one. So let me spread this out a little more. It doesn't want to go. All right, let me put these back in. Let me pull them a little more. There we go. Big enough. All right. Now, I got the little tiny loop. You see the little tiny loop? And I'm pulling the right one, because that's the one that looped around. Then I'm going to take, and I am going to squeeze my bead. And I'm going to squeeze that bead again. Okay? Nice and tight. Now I can take my scissors. Cut off the excess. Whoops. Cut off the excess. There we go. I'm going to take my end, pinch it in. Sometimes these are tight. Feed it on. And there you go. Okay. So now I'm going to attach my dragonfly to this bottom spinner here. I'm going to do it the same way I did that top piece here. I'm just going to make a big loop to go from between here to here at the length that I would like for it to hang. I cannot always get it perfectly in the center of that circle, but you know what? That's okay. So, going to need a seed bead. So I'm going to come over here and pick up a seed bead. All right, there's my seed bead. I'm going to come through the loop in my dragonfly, and there is no opening on that, so I don't have to worry too much about it. Got that wire in there really nice. Okay? And I always hold on to things, because you can lose these seed beads really quick. I'm going to take this left wire. I'm going to come through my spinner. I'm going to line up my pieces like a crisscross. See how they're kind of crisscrossed here? I'm going to slide my bead over that once I line them up. And I'm going to pull. I am going to double loop this like I did up here. Okay. With the sizes I'm using, I don't really have to, basically, because it fits in that bead really nice. And I didn't get it super long, so it might take a little bit for me to fiddle with this thing. So I'm trying to hold this so you can see it. And I'm looping back around, trying to. It's not wanting to go. All right, let's see if I can pull it this way. See, when I pull like this, see how it's bending it forward? Let's see if I can hold it like that. Well, it's going to be a pistol. So, since it's pretty tight in there anyway, I'm going to pull this. See me pulling this? Trying to make sure I'm not coming down to the end. Okay? So I'm cinching this up some. Pulling it again. How far down is it coming? Coming up a little bit more. I like where it's at. I'm going to crimp my bead. Now, some people buy the actual bead crimping pliers. If you happen to have those, go for it. Now, I'm going to pull on it and make sure I'm good. I'm going to hold this and I'm pulling. I got pretty good clearance there. Okay? Again, I'm going to trim my edges. If I pull on everything, everything looks good. I'm going to take this outside, hang it up, and show it to you hung up. All right, so I'm out on my front porch. You can hear some chainsaws in the distance and different things, and not a breeze blowing anywhere. So here it is hanging. I'm going to give her a little spin. No clanging. Now, if they clang, it's really no big deal. There's a lot of people who are afraid to hang these out because of the wind. Not had one break yet. We've done 35, 45 mile an hour winds out here. Of course, it's on a covered porch. I do recommend that if you know that the wind's going to get up more than 45 and you love your glass, take it down. Okay? Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. I'm hoping to be doing some more for you. And thank you for watching.